In this video, we will be counting down our top 15 upcoming PlayStation 4 RPGs of 2016 and 2017. Let's get right into this. Number 15, South Park: The Fractured But Whole. A South Park RPG doesn't sound like it could be a great game, but that's exactly what Ubisoft delivered in 2014 with South Park: The Stick of Truth. For fans of South Park, the game was an absolute love letter, mimicking everything people love about the show, from the art to the humor. Now comes a sequel, South Park: The Fractured But Whole. We still don't know much about the game, but if it's anything like The Stick of Truth, we know it'll be quality. Expect to play South Park: The Fractured But Whole sometime at the end of this year or beginning of next year.
Tune in, friends. Ah, shit, we got the wrong game. Everybody switch games, we're playing superheroes now.
Number 14, God Eater 2 Rage Burst. Out of all the games that have been released in Japan but haven't found their way to the States, God Eater has been one of the most requested ones. Finally, it's happening. God Eater and God Eater 2 are coming to the PlayStation 4. If you don't know what God Eater is, it has an obvious resemblance to the Monster Hunter games, and considering that's a series that PlayStation platforms are lacking, it's nice to see a suitable replacement. The game pits you against large monsters, and you'll be able to use a variety of different weapons that all act differently, so it keeps the game varied. You'll also be able to play online with friends, so that's definitely nice. God Eater 2 releases sometime in the summer. Number 13, Valkyria Chronicles Remastered. 2008 brought the release of one of PlayStation's best RPGs ever, Valkyria Chronicles by Sega. The game was a beautiful strategy RPG with a story that's told with the use of a storybook. The plot itself was gripping and always flowed well. Unfortunately, Valkyria Chronicles never really saw major commercial success until the PC version was released in 2014. Now Valkyria Chronicles Remastered comes to the PlayStation 4. Expect better visuals, a better frame rate, and who could forget trophies, all for a fantastic price of $30. If you've never played Valkyria Chronicles, I'm telling you, it's fantastic. Valkyria Chronicles Remastered releases in May. Number 12, The Division. The Division has been one of the most anticipated games on the PlayStation 4 for nearly 3 years. The game was announced back at Ubisoft's E3 conference in 2013. Unfortunately, a lot of the game's hype has died down due to several delays and an obvious visual downgrade. However, we've seen in the beta that The Division is still a game with a lot of promise. It boasts by far the best recreation of New York I've ever seen in a video game, and it does a great job in making a very atmospheric world. And don't forget the Dark Zones PvP mode, one of the best parts of the game. Hopefully when the final game is released in March, it'll live up to expectations. Number 11, Tales of Berseria. The Tales of games have always been looked at as more of a niche JRPG series compared to the juggernauts such as Final Fantasy. However, Tales of has been gaining popularity over the last few years with the inconsistency of Final Fantasy and the Tales of games being released more and more in the West. It does seem as if it's gaining more of a following. Tales of Berseria is the latest game featuring the first female protagonist of the series. We still don't know a ton about Tales of Berseria, but it's expected to release in 2016 in Japan and sometime later on in the States. Number 10, Nioh. Nioh has been in development for a very long time. The game was originally announced in 2004 with a planned release date of summer 2006. Obviously, that didn't pan out. The game went missing for a while until the Tokyo Game Show in 2015, where it was re-revealed as a PlayStation 4 exclusive. And right away, Nioh became one of the most anticipated PS4 titles. The game follows the story of a William, a samurai during the Warring States period in 16th century Japan. The gameplay is very reminiscent to games like Dark Souls. Yeah, that probably got your attention. Also, the visuals are some of the best I've ever seen. Nioh looks awesome, and samurai games is something that's been missing over the last few years. Hopefully Nioh delivers when it releases sometime in 2016. Number 9, Star Ocean: Integrity and Faithlessness. While Square Enix is probably best known for the Final Fantasy games, they also publish the Star Ocean games. We haven't seen a new entry into this franchise in 7 years, but finally Star Ocean: Integrity and Faithlessness is almost ready to be released. Star Ocean 5 takes place between Star Ocean 2 and 3, and it's set on a planet 6,000 light years from Earth. A big issue with the last Star Ocean game was the long drawn-out cutscenes and poor storytelling. This time around, the cutscenes are intended to be interactive, dynamic, and seamlessly transition with the gameplay. If it retains the excellent Star Ocean gameplay, Integrity and Faithlessness has a lot of potential. The game is expected to release in 2016. Number 8, Nier Automata. 2010's Nier was one of the most underrated RPGs ever, and it was one of the last games I was expecting a follow-up to. Well, that's exactly what Square Enix and Platinum Games are bringing with Nier Automata. The major issue with the original game was the lackluster gameplay. Well, don't expect that to be a big problem since Platinum Games are known for bringing some of the best fast-paced action gameplay. And judging by the trailer, the stellar music, art style, and world have all been retained. Nier Automata has potential to be the sleeper RPG of the year. Keep your eyes on it. Number 7, Kingdom Hearts 3. Kingdom Hearts has become one of the most beloved JRPG franchises in history. The cast of characters from Disney to Square Enix alumni to the original characters have made people fall in love with the world of Kingdom Hearts. While we've seen some spin-off titles and some Bridge the Gap games, nothing compares to the anticipation we've seen for Kingdom Hearts 3. And rightfully so, the last mainline entry was over a decade ago. And what we've seen so far looks amazing to say the least. The gorgeous visuals, the stylish gameplay, it's all here in Kingdom Hearts 3 and better than ever. Hopefully we get to play Kingdom Hearts 3 sooner rather than later. A 2017 release seems logical. Number 6, Dark Souls 3. When Demon's Souls was released in 2009, very few expected it to receive the praise and traction that it did. Then, with the subsequent release of Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2, the franchise exploded in popularity. Now, From Software is closing the book on Dark Souls series as the third game will be the last. The game will keep the essence of Dark Souls, but the gameplay will be refined. A ready stance that allows players to use special abilities, gravestones that provide additional lore to the game. Dark Souls 3 also puts more emphasis on the role-playing, where the character builder is expanded and weapons are improved to provide more options. It's going to be sad to see Dark Souls go, but hopefully this is From Software's best outing yet. Dark Souls 3 releases on April 12th. Number 5, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Ever since the Final Fantasy VII tech demo for the PlayStation 3, fans have been clamoring for a remake to the most iconic Final Fantasy game of all time. For years, we all thought this was a pipe dream, that Square Enix would never deliver and actually remake FF7. However, at Sony's E3 conference in 2015, it was finally announced that yes indeed, Final Fantasy VII would be remade. While details are still sketchy, we have seen some gameplay that indicates the game will be more like an action RPG rather than the traditional old school style. Also, it's been announced that the remake will be an episodic adventure. That's gonna make some people a bit skeptical. But if that means we can get our hands on the game much earlier, then it might be worth it. Regardless, when the Final Fantasy VII Remake releases, expect the gaming world to be buzzing. As far as an exact release date, we still don't know, but late 2017 seems plausible. Number 4, Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon Zero Dawn is the latest game from one of Sony's top studios in Guerrilla Games. These guys are famous for the popular FPS series Killzone. It's nice to see a studio like Guerrilla that has an established franchise step out of their comfort zone and try to create something a bit innovative. If nothing else, it's commendable to say the least. Horizon Zero Dawn is a post-apocalyptic RPG in a world filled with what could be best described as mechanized dinosaurs. And unlike a lot of post-apocalyptic games like Fallout, the world of Horizon Zero Dawn is vibrant and filled with color and life, which is a nice change of pace. Horizon has potential to become a big franchise for Sony. We'll find out how it turns out when Horizon Zero Dawn releases sometime this year.
Oh, come on! Yes!
Number 3, Final Fantasy 15. Final Fantasy 15 is another game that has been in development for a long time. Originally announced back in 2006 as a PlayStation 3 exclusive and under the name of Final Fantasy Versus 13, the game has seen a long road to say the least. At times we thought the game had been quietly cancelled, but those worries were eventually put to rest. And now Final Fantasy 15 is looking like a finished product. This is one of the most ambitious JRPGs ever. You could tell that just from playing the episode Duskgate demo. The size and the scale of the world is absolutely massive. The gameplay is integrated seamlessly into the world and the visuals are some of the best we've ever seen. Will Final Fantasy 15 live up to the massive hype? It's hard to say, but at this point we just want to see the game be released, and it looks to be happening in 2016. Number 2, Mass Effect Andromeda. BioWare has created some of the best Western RPGs of all time. Their catalog is absolutely ridiculous. From Baldur's Gate to Jade Empire to Dragon Age, they've made many terrific RPGs. But to many, their best creation is the Mass Effect games. From Mass Effect to a near-perfect game in Mass Effect 2, and despite a lackluster ending, Mass Effect 3 was still an exceptional game. Now they're back with the latest Mass Effect game, Andromeda. Exact details about the game are still unknown. All we've got to see is a CGI trailer, and even with that, we could rank Andromeda at number 2. We do know that the game takes place long after the events of the original trilogy, and obviously it's in the Andromeda galaxy. The game will also be running on the Frostbite 3 engine, so expect it to visually please. As far as a release date goes, we know it's coming in EA's fiscal year, which ends in March of 2017. Number 1, Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. 2011's Deus Ex Human Revolution was one of the best RPGs on the last generation platforms. Now Eidos Montreal brings you the sequel, Deus Ex: Mankind Divided, taking place 2 years after the events of Human Revolution. You once again play as Adam Jensen. Jensen has to work with an international coalition to stop terrorist attacks as well as shady inner workings. Deus Ex does a magnificent job in nailing the cyberpunk setting, creating one of the best worlds in an RPG. The gameplay is diverse and it can be played in so many different ways. What we've seen so far has looked stellar from a visual and gameplay's perspective. The game did have one mishap with the augment your pre-order debacle, but it looks like that's behind them. Deus Ex: Mankind Divided releases on August 23rd. That wraps up our countdown of the top 15 upcoming PlayStation 4 RPGs in 2016 and 2017. What do you think? Do you agree with our list? Do you think we ranked a game too high or too low? Did we forget to mention a game that you think should be on this list? Let us know in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching and goodbye.